Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, and double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to all the Akim out there pushing the truth throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom unto you. And I'm coming at you this evening to talk about the unification of the so-called organized church against the prophets of the Most High. You know, not excluding the pastors, preachers, and teachers also within the body of Yahweh, Yahawashi. And you're going to see here more in these last days the church start working more with the government. Now, I'm not saying that they're not working with the government already. They already have the 501c3 government mandate or literature in their hand. They're already practicing it to an extent, but you're going to really see a working with these so-called pastors in these churches more and more with the government, because as more and more Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans come out of those churches, it's going to really start to affect their money tremendously. And as they start to see the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans start to to gravitate more towards the Hebrew Israelite teaching, and they're finding out more and more that the church is full of bullshit, it's gonna really start to hurt the church's money. And so naturally, just like you've seen many times with Yahawashi and the disciples and Paul going to certain cities and messing up, silversmiths' money and these blacksmiths' money from making idol pagans, it's going to affect the church's money as well. So the more and more we come out of the church, the more and more you're going to start to see the pastors working with local law enforcement and government agents, because, like I said, it's hurting them in their pockets. And who are they going to take their anger out on? The men of the Lord. They're going to come after us full speed ahead. And like the scripture says, I'll read a little bit of the scriptures. Yahawashi was basically getting on the Sadducees and Pharisees. It says, "Woe unto you, you scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! For ye pay tithe and mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave others undone. Ye blind guides, which strain a gnat and swallow a camel." And that goes to show, when I used to go to church, evangelists used to come from, places like TBN, God TV, really Satan TV, but they would come flock to our church because they would get, sometimes, anywhere from $25 to $10,000, man, in just 2 nights. They would clean up, and then a lot of them would fly their own private jets up out of there. Their own private jets, paid for by the church. But yet members in the congregation are starving and barely making ends meet. And if they don't pay up, they get a whole series of why you should pay tithes. But yet they don't believe in the Old Testament, just only the tithing part. Imagine that. Now, proceed. Verse number 25 of Matthew 23. "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup and the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess." And that's what they do. They extort. "Thou blind Pharisees, clean first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, for ye are like unto whited sculptures, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and all of uncleanness." The pastors like to wear the Esau's three-piece suit, the fancy Coogee or Gucci tie or Ralph Lauren tie. I mean, they like to be decked out, the 10-gallon hat, Stacey Adams Rockport shoes, look real good. But they're just a brood of vipers on the inside, man. They don't keep none of the laws, and they tell the congregation to break the laws. The laws are done away with. There's nothing righteous about you pork chop pastors or your congregation. You are the congregation of the dead that the Bible speaks of. Now, verse number 27, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, for like unto whited sculptures, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and full of all uncleanness. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous. See, they act like they honor the prophets of old. They really act like they wish they were back in that time, and whoa, how it would have been to walk with Jesus and Moses, and they'll tell you all of this mumbo jumbo. But when you start preaching the law that our forefathers kept, then all of a sudden they start backpedaling. Well, when Christ came, that all changed. We don't go by that no more. We go by the law of love. Which the law of love? What's the law of love? What's that? So if one of these brothers get into bed with your wife, you just gonna tell them how much you love them? What are you gonna do? You see, you're a bunch of hypocrites, man. You're full of shit. Verse number 29. Woe unto you, Pharisees and hypocrites, because ye build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sculptures of the righteous, and say, if you had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. That's what they say. But as time gets harder and their money, they start to lose grip of their money, their cash cow, the congregation, they're going to work more and more with government agents to have the saints of the Most High put to death, the elect. Number 31. Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. And see, ain't nothing new up under the sun. What has been shall also be. They're going to do the same thing as the scribes and Pharisees, the crooked ones. Not all of them, but the crooked ones. They're going to do the same thing. Verse number 34. Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill and crucify. And some of them ye scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city. And as you go, more into the Apocrypha, how it talks about cities being shut off and stuff. But even now, man, you've got agents working, agents provocateurs that actually follow brothers in Great Millstone and change their clothes. They even try to change their appearance a little bit, but it'd be the same agent. And some of you brothers that even caught them on tape. But as time goes on, which we're running out of time, it's going to increase. 35. Upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom ye slew before the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stoneth them, which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as hens gathereth her chickens under her wings, and you would not let me. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, you shall not see me henceforth, till you shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. So I'll stop right there as far as the scripture wise. But the moral of the story is you're going to see these pork chop pastors and these so-called religious leaders all teaming and working up with government officials, which they're already doing. But it's just going to be a heavier chastisement and heavier harassment. And even some of us be put to death. And like I said, the pork chop pastor will be working right along with you. You even got pastors already telling people to take the RFID chip. You got to eat. And the deception comes because they're waiting for some TBN Darby 7-year tribulation that's not going to happen. These church folks really believe that stuff. They really believe the Left Behind series, and they believe that stuff wholeheartedly. But that stuff is just a farce. It's just something made up to confuse Israel, you Israelites that are in captivity. I'm going to get ready to close out, but not only that, you got Nate Satan and General Yahanna. They're already telling their congregation to take the chip. So them niggas is done. Anybody following them guys, you better get out from underneath their sick umbrella. And you better get out of there quick, or you're going to die right along with them. And with that being said, shalom.